Hello, Super Robot Wars fans. My name is Austin, back with the Super Robot Wars archives. Today, we are playing more Super Robot Wars R. This is the 36th scenario, the penultimate scenario. Thank you for joining me. I hope you all have been having a good day. This is late into the evening after a lot of wingspan and chores on my part today. Let's look at our scenario. So, objective first, we need to, at present, destroy all enemies. We have a cluster over here, a cluster over here, and a cluster over here. You will notice, basically, this is very roughly the same units that we saw last scenario, just in, like, different formations. But it's not going to stay that way. So our main problem right now is 0. This is 0 with Vector again. But he still has that same sort of reviving situation going on as last time. We need him to be the last one to go down. Otherwise, we're going to have to destroy him multiple times. And then, if he is the last one on the battlefield, then we will go into the second stage. So that's our goal right now. That does mean we need to take down all 3 of the Angel Sisters, is what I'm opting to call them. I think you know what I mean. The units we have been force deployed are both of the gears, which is unfortunate. They are really wasting slots for us. Our other force deploy was the Excellence, so that's fine. But that does mean we are short 2 units we would like to bring. We're just going to toss those into the battleships and probably not use them. They're not lost conditions this time, so we might send them out for like an attack if something is low. But I would really prefer the enemies to not attack them. Like, we don't want the... We don't care if they survive, we just don't want to waste the counterattacks. Like, they're not going to be doing well if enemies are attacking them, right? Like, we're wasting those counterattack options. Speaking of wasting, I don't know why I wasn't doing this before, but, like, we super can be, like, moving all of these units up a lot farther earlier, like, on the first turn. We can be moving people up right away. So, forgive me, I was being a goober about it. Let's see, who else needs very little? Catcher also doesn't need a lot. We can go this right angle. And this right angle. Right? See, like, that's considerably more effective. But I think I said this at the beginning of this playthrough, that this game is very fundamentals testing. Like, if you can keep eking out small little advantages, then you're going to be doing well. Oh, we've got 1 extra unit compared to last time. So that's unfortunate. We don't have that many right angles. Is this better? Is it better if we have this shift over to the right one? No, that doesn't matter. We just need a 4th unit to do this, and then we could get, what, 2 more units in here if we had somebody else that did it. And we technically do, but then that sort of breaks this section. No, I still think I prefer having... Right, we have... Hold on. It's down here somewhere. Is it on her? No, it's down here. Mouse, come to me. This spirit. Rouse. But I prefer him having his SP, right? Like, we don't want him going down to 8. That's not actually really worth it. If, like, Karot for some reason had it, or, Yurika had it, then we could do that. Which I think, like, I think that's probably doable, right? We had 2 healers that had it. We had both Jun and Sayaka. So if instead of using Karot, you were using someone like Sayaka, she could go here, and then that means we would have That means we could morale 2 other people, but that does also mean that you are like you're probably going to be using the gears too. Which I guess, like, all told, is probably not a bad suggestion. If you wanted to play this game as easily as possible, one of the recommendations I would make is trying to invest into the gears. Not because they're good units, but just because the game is going to deploy them so often, you're going to see them a lot. And I think if you're not used to playing these kind of games, both tactics and super robots, you're going to kind of assume, like, you just sort of lean into the direction that the game is already taking you. If things are force deployed, you tend to use them. It's one of the great conundrums while trying to discuss games like Fire Emblem or some of the tactics games that are based off of other game franchises before them. That because your main character is out all the time, you have to use them, which is just like, that's not true. You can just leave them sit behind everybody. Like, they don't actually need to do anything productive, because typically they're actually that good of characters. Less relevant here because the main character tends to be pretty good in these games, at least so far. I don't think anyone's going to contest me in saying that Masaki and Cybuster are at least decent. I don't know how they stack up in recent versions of these games, but from playing the early games, the game is sort of over. You kind of need to hold yourself back from using Masaki and the Cybuster in the complete box, because it really just cleans everything. Fiona and Raoul are pretty decent. I remember doing really well with the main character from GC. The main character in Neo is alright. I mean, like, he's good. He's just, like, boring. He doesn't have, like, a lot of flash going on for him. Maybe you're listening going, well, yeah, of course, it's Neo. Nothing is really exciting in that game, but I don't think that... I think Neo is... I think there's a lot of really neat things going on with Neo. I've been told that it's the most disliked of all of the games. Actually, sorry, no. That's not true. The PSP one that is like the episodic, you have to keep buying into the game, is the most disliked. And then after that, Neo is the most disliked. But I could be wrong. Maybe I'm reading the wrong articles, the wrong forums. I did make a couple of changes during intermission, the most notable of which have been increasing people's damage. I don't remember all what I did. 3 of the units that we used did not have their damage maxed, and that seemed like a shame, so I fixed that. But the other reason I bring it up is because I removed the linear seat from Duo. He was getting +2 hit that way, or not +2 hit, +2 range on his attacks that way, but I felt like he was getting hit too often, so I preferred him to dodge more than have better range. We'll see if that bites us here. This is literally the same map next scenario too. So maybe it's not literally the same one. Hold on. I apologize. It is slightly adjusted. We're going to slide up like 4 rows, but it's basically the same one. So a lot of the lessons we take from this one can be applied to the next scenario too. So if I feel like our range is not quite right, we can very directly, proactively change that for next scenario. We can go back to using I think it's the linear seat. No, I think the linear seat's the one that is the only +1 range, not +2. And then just have the getter counter for it. Not counter, support attack. Yeah, that should be fine. And if we get hit, we get hit. Yeah, that works fine. What else? I know there's something else I gotta talk about. I remember what I got to talk about. The game crashed when last I was trying to record. So that means that the save file I had and the save states that I had... Oh, that was rough. I thought we were gonna kill that. The save file and the save states that I had for this playthrough were all lost. So I had to go back and replay. I only had to replay 2 scenarios. There were some save states that were untouched. So I had to replay those. So you will see some slight differences because of that. I tried to do things roughly the same as what we did, but like kills probably went different places. That's just inevitably how it's going to go. We got roughly the same amount of funds. So because I had to redo 2 scenarios, it sort of worked out in the wash. I got some more funds the first of the 2, and then, so was that 34? I got more funds scenario 34, and then got fewer 35, but it ended up being roughly the same. Our turn count is, I think, 3 or 4 turns less than it was displayed before. We've not really been worrying about that much, but I want to point it out because I don't want it to look suspicious when numbers aren't adding up at the end now. Right? I don't like that. I've not been doing anything behind the scenes to like change what's happening. I think it's very easy to make playthroughs look very good by doing something like that, and it seems very deceptive. So if there's anything like weird going on, I will let you know. Or if there's anything that you all see and you're like, something is amiss here. Like please say something. I will be happy to explain it or talk through whatever happened. It will absolutely never be anything fishy. Though I suspect in saying so, I've made it seem the most fishy it could possibly be. Okay, what is Laliar's range? 7. I can never remember the range of these things, despite them being like kind of dramatic. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Okay, so, but we do want the getter to be attacked. Oh, but that's actually terrible because they're not going to be in range. Right? If we put them here, that means that they are 4 or more spaces away from 3 of those enemies, so they're not actually going to get the counterattack. And switching into the getter 2 for that isn't worth it to me. What we want is to be here, because we can go 1, 2... No, that's still actually 4. So the getter... So we want to be here or here at either of these. I'm calling them diagonals, because I'm sort of imagining this as like a diamond that's like angled to like, what, 2 and 7 o'clock. So we want to be at one of these 2 diagonals, either in this formation or in this formation. I guess we'll send this direction for now. 1, 2, 3. Yeah, so if we go down 1, 2, 3, down at this bottom of this peninsula. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Okay, we can still get attacked though by Laliar. Yeah, that makes sense. So there's no way to be out of her range if we want to get the getter in close. I just want to start pushing immediately, because this is going to be a long scenario based on what's going to have to show up here for a boss. And if we can, then the closer we can keep 0 to this upper point, the easier the latter part of the scenario is going to be. I think we're just going to send him over here and accept the consequences of it. We could use a wall. We're not going to use a wall. That seems wasteful. Just do this. Yeah. Someone needs to destroy this. If she could hit, that would be cool. Oh, well, I hadn't accounted for... I figured 3,000 damage would be enough, but... Well, yeah, no, it probably would have been, right? Because it's 2,500 or less. I don't know why in my mind I went, but it'll kill, so it doesn't matter. It mattered. It still matters. What are you talking about? I think what we're going to do is have the Taugeese go to the left and the Excellence go to the right, or vice versa. Just have those 2 split up. They're 2 of our like longer ranged units right now. And we're going to make that call based on who has the farthest post move. And I think the Taugeese is going to go to the left because he has... I switched the equipment of the Death Scythe and the Taugeese, which is to say they both have a horror wand, but I gave him the Saikamu, and I gave the Taugeese the... Oh yeah, no, is this... Oh, it's some kind of radar. Is it... the is like triple. Oh no, 3D. That makes sense. 3D radar. So our longest post movement right now is 7. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. That's 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. So for actually, this is great. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. So from this position, we can attack Laliar next turn. And because of putting the Getter here, she is going to stay in place. So she's going to be well without the range, outside the range of the Taugis. I think we can probably have these two kill Laliar next turn, just right off the bat. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Which, if we can, I am very pro. This is 100%. Yeah, I'd rather just do this. It's not as much movement, but I'd rather the saber action. Yep, and we're gonna have to just block all this stuff. That's fine. Oh no. My poor choice of send somebody into the water. I really like the villain endgame music. I think it's very solid. Okay, so we can attack here. We can also soul him to get 2.5 times damage, and then have the Getter come in and use the Shine Spark. And that might be lethal. That might be lethal. I guess there's no reason we have to rush it that much. I think we're going to send the Rock Hylum over here to give him leadership. He was at 74 to hit. And now he's at 99, yeah. Yeah, I think we're just going to chip a turn or two. I see... We can pull the trigger. We can pull that trigger when the other side's getting closer, right? Like, we're not actually getting ourselves a turn ahead doing that. It's so unfortunate that the Getter can't counter both of the combattlers. So what I'm thinking is, if we're sitting here, we can start damaging this combattler on the enemy phase. And then once it's dead, we can move over to the right side instead. But that is going to put us, like, really vulnerable for a really long time. Like, we're gonna take a lot of damage that way. But we can heal it off. That's fine. So given that, we should probably be using attack like this instead. And I guess we can use a bullseye. I'd rather save Goes if we can. Goes Spirit so we can use Awakens. The reason I want to use this is, A, we are not presently consuming enough energy. As the amount we are... Oh boy, that's a lot of damage. We are not consuming as much energy as we are recharging. So that would be wasting some energy. And second, they do have a super repair kit on them. So they are going to be getting back... The super repair kit heals everything other than SP. So they're a little bit less in danger. That said, we are going to give them a trust. If Laliar didn't have a 100% chance to hit them, I probably would have left them at lower HP to try and get the accuracy changes out of potential. I think they have one of the higher potentials, but nope. That's fine. They can. So actually, we'll probably end up using the super repair kit this enemy phase, or this next player phase. Let's see what we're working with here. This is only a B in water. Okay, what is 10% of... Oh, is it 50? No, actually, I think it's 15%. Yeah, it's 15%. What is 15% of 3,000? 3,300. That's 330. 300, about like 396. So this is still better in the water. We'll catch remove first. Yeah, same deal. So this is what, 200 and... Yeah, it's still not as good as using the like, way higher damage. Well, not way higher damage. 500 points more damage is enough of a difference that cancels out the benefit of the A or B scaling. And then this one obviously cancels it out. I suppose I could be using fortunes here, but we're so close to the end of the game. At this point, there's very little left for us to upgrade. We'll probably end up getting there regardless. And then we're gonna send... We want these two to go together so we have access to their super attack. We're gonna send them right and up-ish so we can start engaging with these enemies. What turn is this? This is turn 3. When do the jams start jamming? They start moving on turn 3. Okay. They've got range 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So we want to stay outside of that 5 range, which is perfect. Because they'll start coming to us then. 1, 2, 3, 4. Oh yeah, actually, hold on. What is their movement, though? 1 to 4 post movement. Okay, here, 1, 2, 3, 4. Oh, that's perfect. It's almost like I drew it up that way. And then send the excellence to the right. And I guess these two don't really need the help that much. Between the getter just being good, I will put the rose over here to start helping out. And the only one that's really taken a lot of damage is the getter, but that's still a waste to have the Carrot spend their turn trying to heal him because he's going to use the super repair kit anyway. It's going to be too much that at that point it's just better to use the item. And then the carrot can stay over here. That's fine. And then move the Nadeshkov too. Okay. And then the two that are left are the gears. Because we already have the head start on the left side of things, I'm less worried about sending more units over there. That's too much energy for that. Yeah, there was no reason to use the super attack, the best attack on them. I guess on the other hand, we want to burn as much energy as we can if we're going to have to use that super repair kit. Right, and then we know this one we can't. Oh, maybe we aren't going to use it this turn then. Yeah, it has to be the large missile. The big missile. What is it actually called? Oh, sorry, Big Rocketto. Big Rocketto. No, I can't roll my R's. I roll my R's so much. One of the first non-English languages I learned was Spanish. So anytime there is an R sound anywhere, I really just want to roll the R. Okay. That's such a shame. I don't really want to use the super repair kit yet, because that's a lot of energy we would be wasting using it now. So someone's got to use a... Is this Faith? I don't remember what this spirit is called. We don't use this one a lot. I know a lot of people I've seen rate also highly the spirits that full heal you, either this one, or this one can target anybody, or there's the one that's reflexive that only targets yourself. And I just don't get it. They're fine. I think they're okay. But I think they're way more niche than what I've seen the community give them credit for. I think there's a lot of times it's okay to just stay at, like, medium to low health because of the benefits of potential, or you can just heal with one of your repairs, which I think is a better use of your turn than wasting spirits that could be, like, clearing enemies instead. This is, in fact, Faith. Excellent. So we can have someone use a Faith on them. Catra has one. Two people from the Combattler and the Voltace, and they have one internally, but I want to try and save their SP if... Oh, actually, you know what? You know what? Show has it. That is the SP that I'm most apt to spend, especially now that we care, as I've said, I care a little bit less about the fortunes. Though if we killed Aliar, their HP doesn't actually matter between these two goofballs. I'm also kind of tempted to awaken to just pick off this. No, that's a terrible waste. We can have George bless himself. Also, I was reading. Okay, no, I have called this bless. Okay, I was reading something the other day that had these two switched. That bless and fortune were opposites of each other. I'm like, I don't think that's right. I don't like that. But I wanted to make sure I didn't get something wrong first. I was just forgetting badly. So we'll take this kill. I don't even know if we need to... Actually, you know what? No, it is... If we can spend Zex's SP as if it is the SP of the getter, right? Because one of them, if one of them is going to double damage, we may as well have it be Zex instead to save the getter's SP. Let me use a focus also. Perfect. And then the getter doesn't need to use a Valor to take this down. Also, it's not like I'm not going to use the fortunes if I have like a really big target sitting in front of me. Just, you know. I'm not gonna feel a great deal of loss over it if we don't get it. Yeah, okay. That's a kill. And then we'll have the Carrot. And the Carrot should have given a cheer to George also, but I forgot. I'm really bad at giving the experience buffs because it just matters so little in this game. I think I said a couple of times that I'm working on the complete box documentation right now. And for those games, because enemy levels do not scale, no matter what level you are, the enemy levels are the same. Getting XP in those games matters a lot because out-leveling your enemies actually does something. I don't think that Nadeshiko has any other relevant moves, so I think we may as well take this attack, and if it works, it's great. If not, yeah, perfect. Because that gives us the context for Rain to come up here and kill if we want. I think I'd rather this, and then get a support attack off of... Well, I mean, actually at this point, the Voltace can support attack, and it won't cost anything. It's just a basic attack for them, so never mind. I was going to say I want to get the support attack off of one of the Wing Gundam boys, because their attacks are free, but at this point, the Voltace attack is free also. The Voltace attack is free also. Yeah, that's fine. I think Carrot has someone to heal. Oh, Dagnammit. That would have also been a good time to give a cheer, right? Because we like Rain's the one that we need to have. Rain's the only one that we really care about leveling up at this point. I guess Rain and Food Psyche to get extra spirits off. Not that 40 was doing 40 was giving us a Valor. She's never going to use that. Doesn't actually matter. If we could get her to 60, but that's way too many levels, I think. Can we take out this Venus this turn? I think we probably can. Let me get my scenario back open. When does everything else start moving? This is turn 4 now, right? This is turn 4. The 2 knights start moving turn 4. Turn 5, we're gonna get the angels moving, and then turn 6 is when Vector starts moving. So we would like to largely have this cleaned up by turn 6, so we don't have to get Vector out of position. So can the Combattler reach? Yes. 1, 2, 3. So the Voltace can go first, use its 1 to 3 range 5,000 damage attack, and then have the Combattler come in, get the support off of the Voltace, get the rivalry bonus, and then from here. We can also put them in, I guess we could put them in character. She will have to excel to get one space up, so we can get the bonus off of the rival bonus off of her too. And then what is she doing with her attack? She could be killing. Oh, that probably won't kill. That would get it close. So at that point, maybe it's just better to chip Despinus a little bit too. We can have Duo kill this, and then have Domon take out this Combattler. So let's, okay, there we go. I was like trying to enter into its like large menu and it just was not working. I think my controller's getting old. I guess let's have the Combattler or the Voltace move first. Because I think that's still the best thing that the two of the Super Magnetics can do. Right, that is... I do love also so much that it prioritizes the boss music over the character music. I think it's a very good call for hearing these tracks for so many scenarios, for so many episodes. It just feels like a very intelligent call on their part to spice up the music. Okay. That's gonna be, all right, we need to find a way to not get hit. There we go. We never use Mega V's. That's the one, like, speaking of small little strategy bits, using the spirits off of the last two pilots of the Super Magnetics is really something I do not do a lot. Also, it occurs to me that I did not show off the boss kill here. Whoops. Don't worry. We'll get to see your next scenario, too. Right, like, this SP is often so wasted on my party. I really, like, the answer I should be just doing is using Confuse more. So once I think I'm 3 turns away, I guess we can fire 3 Confuses, because the EXP at this point doesn't matter, like I said. And we can be getting cheers off of Karat, too. I guess the last 2 turns we could be firing Confuses, so that we have a couple of these to burn through. What's our HP looking at? 17,000? I think we can probably do that with the main character in there, too. So... go here. We'll just use focus for that. Right, we could use a bullseye and a flash. That costs 30. Focus only costs 15, and it's effectively giving us 100% and 0%. Like that 9% I'm willing to accept. So that was 2,400, and being next to 2,500 is 2,497. And that's an extra 5%, so like, she's contributing like probably 3,000 damage, 4,000 damage to this. Okay, we need... Does he have anything? No, he just has movement. We need cash. Not that the angels give all that much either. They... Oh, right, I forgot. He also just has game on him, so there really is no reason to use the last pilot. Sorry, again, I cannot read kanji well if I don't know what the name already is. But there's really very little reason to use his SP, so we can start firing off more Confuses at the end of scenarios. And like, I know this game is almost done, but I suspect it's going to be true for future games that have them, and also just like the multi-use pilots. In D, I was having the same problem with the... Oh, it's not Megazone. The one that has the robots that change back and forth between a jet and a human and the, like, One Piece style zone hybrid jet form. You know, the ones. It's all music themed. It'll come to me at some point. But their battleship has... Oh, I think that's also the most damage we've seen out of one attack. Their battleship has, like, 6 pilots to it, and I frequently do not use all of their SP productively. Sick. So we can have, yeah, like I said, we can have Domon come up here. How damaged? Oh, that one's not that damaged. So maybe change of plans. We have 3,700, 4,800. Can Catra kill here with the assistance of Duo? Yes. Oh, well. Not Votoms, not Voltace. I feel like there's a V involved. Macross. Good golly, that took a while. Did Macross have a different name in the US for a bit when it first came out? I feel like I remember playing a PS2 game that was just actually Macross. But it was called something different. Like, it didn't say it was from anything. And, like, all the main characters, they acted like it was, like, set in New York. And, like, all the main characters were very, very white names. If you've not seen this, please delight yourself for, like, 5 minutes today and look up Japanese baseball video game American team names. Something like that will get you close to it. But there's a roster of what, like, a 1980s, I think, programmer thought American names looked like, and they're hilarious. They're hilariously accurate. They're very funny. And the characters from this, like, it definitely was a Macross game. It wasn't a knockoff of it, but it was just like translated for whichever one came over to the States. And the naming from that reminds me of the 1, 2, 3, 4. At least the names that I think I remember from them. I could not tell you what any of their names were. I did not play it a lot. It was kind of clunky. And at that point, I was just playing the... Oh, we super did not need the Valor for that. Whoops. And at that point, I was just playing the Gundam Versus games on the PS2 anyway. What's Zero's range? Probably like 12 or something. No, just 7. Okay. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Okay, so as long as we are close to the jam, it's hitting us. But it's the God Gundam. With the God Gundam, it's probably going to be fine. And the 2 knights are moving this turn. None of those are the attack. They have 6 range and put 1 boost movement. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Okay. So if we're... No, we want to be standing here so that one of the knights can attack us also. I think let's try this. This is probably a little bit overkill. It was a little bit, but that's fine. We still recover a decent... We've got a solar panel. So we are getting back, what, 46? We'll get 51 back each turn. That puts us to 240, 444, I think is what it's going to be. And so we don't spend any more SP. We're going to spend one on the Death Knight. Right, we know he is badly hurt. And then, oh, it's just Rain that's also hurt. I mean, that's fine. We've got no other productive targets right now. We can have the Combattler or the Voltace. Yeah, they're like decently bopped, but we can have them come back and check. Like, we can have the Karat sit like at the tip of this peninsula and have them sort of checkpoint with it as they fly back. They can get healed on one turn and then they can get resupplied on the other turn. And then we also have the spirit that gives you energy back we can use for one of the 2 of them. Also, incredible that the battleship actually can, like, land a hit. Even 77% against the unmoving nature of these super robot enemies is disappointing. I guess he is like 30, or no, he's like 20 levels down, so maybe that checks out a little bit. Right, that makes sense. They only have a 1 range post movement. That's what we're looking for. That's a bit overkill. We're just gonna... Actually, yeah, no, we're gonna use one of the non-energy ones, because we weren't gonna one-shot it anyway. Okay. We can get here, 1, 2, 3 with an Excel. This is then turn 5. So this is when Tis will start moving. What's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6? Okay, so yeah, just off of this land piece is her range. So what's her post movement? So we want to be 8 spaces away from her. If we're 7 spaces away, she can hit us with a Chorismos. Chorismos. I remember I spent a lot of time trying to figure out how to translate their attack names. I think they're all like Greek or Latin. I think they're all either they're like lightly mythology references, or they're things that could potentially be interpreted as virtues or values in mythology. I have all of it notated about like why I translated them the way they do and what was close. I think a lot of translations conventionally have been putting them just as the very katakana-ified words, but that wasn't satisfactory enough for me. I wanted to understand why they were the way what the naming convention was. Like, they were given those names for a reason. So we want to be standing. Man, every time I just wish there was a way to mark stuff. We want to be standing here, theoretically. That does mean that 0 can hit us, but that's okay. I think I'm also going to use the super repair kit because of how close in we're going to have to be. Yeah, I believe it was this space. That's fine. That's close enough to being right that I'm not going to worry about it. Right's not going to do anything else relevant, so we may as well use the Excel to get him closer into the action to give the leadership buffs. So like I said, we'll have these two tag in with the carrot. We can move here, I guess that's true. Yeah, this attack does not matter to me that much. Great. These two are Mondo Giga Ultra Dead. Yeah, I think we're just going to burn all of his energy, the Voltase's energy, and then we can use the energy resupplying spirit on him next turn. Oh, right. EXP 2. We'll give it from the carrot. And then once we get the second flag to trigger, then I'll start tossing around confusions. Though if I'm trying to plan this well. If I do, I really thought we were going to kill. I did not check that support attack. We did not waste energy. We wasted a lot of energy on that support attack. That's my bad. What was I saying? Oh, if I have planned this well, I'm hoping we're only going to have at most 2, ideally 1 turns after the other unit shows up. I know I didn't need to check that one because the only multi-ranged attack that Domon has are these 3, and I know that it's going to use I was going to opt to select the one that takes 20 energy. Perfect, and then next turn we can resupply. Oh, whoops. Oh, right, because we did remove his extra range. That was our first time of the extra range biting us. All right, Domon's out of support attack, so having Rain go in to do that is not worth it. How much is this actually worth? 4,000, so it is actually worth it to fortune someone for this. So I guess we're going to give it to Katra, and then we're going to have Rain come in and weaken it anyway, and then she's getting the support off of Domon for the lover's bonus. So even if she did take damage, she would have taken less. And then Catra can come in and finish this off. And then that leaves Domon free to go up and start bothering Tiss. And I'm going to intentionally have him attack from behind because... Oh, that doesn't put him... Well, okay. That still puts him in position for another unit that's going to arrive, but not immediately for the boss. That was 56 and 49, so if we use a focus, that's 86 and 19. Now that there's, like, another option. It's not like we have a focus anywhere. Or a bullseye anywhere. Though I guess we can use this attack. I'd rather guarantee the hit and do a little bit less damage. As always. Right, and she does have an energy regen. So that's giving her back what? Her energy regen and HP regen. HP regen's small, so she's only getting back 2,300. So that some of that damage was permanent. Oh, I guess I did put the Shining Gundam right in the way of getting attacked by Zero. That's fine. No, I would like to do the one that actually hits. Cool. Okay. Oh boy. Yeah, no, this is still correct. Well, we won't use him yet. I need to be a little bit less hasty on just, like, firing immediately. Right? Because we can use this spirit to restore the energy of the Voltace. Okay. And then we can resupply the Combattler. Who can actually make it up there is an important question. 1, 2, 3, and then the Voltace can attack with the 1 to 3 range one. That works. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. So he can definitely get in range. He'll just need to use a charge. If we can use... Okay, actually, no, hold on. We can use a charge and a soul. That's 85 of 90. So no, we should use a... We charge first. Use the getter as a reference point. Nope, not that one. See what our accuracy is. Okay, so we do need to use a focus. So we don't want to use a soul then, because that means we couldn't then use a better. And we can go one up. We cannot go one up from the getter. So we'll move the getter out of the way. If we move to where the getter is positioned right now, that will give us 3 extra. So like right now we're here. That's 98. Actually, we can just go one. We can go one up. We don't have to move the getter yet. That'll give us. Shouldn't that give us 3 extra hit? Oh, but we're also moving 1 step away from the white base, so that is in fact decreasing our hit. So let's get the white base in there. Actually, how big is his aura? It's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 steps. And we were, what, 1, 2, 3... It would be 4 steps away here, so if we are 1, 2... Come on. From here, if we are 1, 2, 3 steps away, that'll work. And that gives us, like, a pretty good aura coverage for leadership. And then he's in position for the second boss that shows... He's not in position, but he's much closer in position for the second boss that'll show up later. Cool. And I was gonna say, I don't remember this having an eye field, but it has an eye field from the part it has. This feels a lot more like... It feels a lot more like this part is designed to be relevant for the boss fight, not for you to get one. Like, I already have 3 and I'm not using them. I think they are good. I think they're good for this, like... Catra probably would... Catra probably could take one instead of the dodgy parts I've been giving him, because he really doesn't use his energy for anything. Yeah, no matter what the Rose Gundam wasn't going to do anything relevant, that's fine. Oh. I don't think we can end this... Can we end this round? We might be able to end this round. Let's see. Tiss only has 12,000. Surely the getter can do that. That said, she does have just so much morale. And I really don't want to spend Daunts if I can help it. We might need those Daunts for other bosses. I doubt we could... No, hold on. We're going to try. We got to try. Who else is down here that isn't going to matter? No, because all of these people could still attack Zero, and he's going to be our primary need. That said, the Voltace and the Combattler can probably handle him pretty soundly. I'm just thinking, just because of the eye field, I'm kind of tempted to get one more good attack in first. So actually, given this, we should probably have the getter move first, and then have the Excellence finish her off, and then just have the getter use an Awakening now. Okay, we're gonna try it. We might as well. We have all these resources. Let's push. So we need a bullseye, which we're gonna get to keep the entire turn, and we can flash with show. Or the entire player phase. Yeah, okay. So we definitely could have killed on double damage, but that's fine. We also get to have the Excellence do at least one more cool thing. Ow, that was my wrist. Easy. Let's make sure my note's correct. We gotta check if my note's correct now, otherwise that was just a very wasteful attack. We got 4 levels from that. Incredible. Yes, now we have this little song and dance. Oh, actually, we even have 2 other units to use, because at this point, I am willing to call the gears decent when they get the Phoenix modes. We'll talk about them when they transform into them, because they're pretty busted. They're also the, like, make sure you have something that you can use at the end of the game to still, like, end the game. Yeah, see, we were right next to him. And this way, if something goes wrong, everyone's just really, like, tight and close. So we can be a little bit more responsive to where we need things to go if something goes wrong. Keeping Zero and Emperor Golfa close by. Okay, so let's look at the gears first. This is the Dendo Phoenix. It doesn't have that much different in terms of attacks. It actually has a reduced number of attacks compared to what it normally can have with all of its other modes. This 4,000 damage attack is sort of the highlight. It uses the It uses the question mark energy down here, which takes up all of your energy again, which is awful. But it doesn't matter this time because its ability is EN Max, which means every time it hits player phase, it will get all of its energy back. This is considerably better, obviously, once you have more energy on it. This is one of the few units that probably can justify just running the extra energy parts. Obviously, you only get it for, like, the end of the game. We could have gotten this one scenario sooner had we done the Zero boss fight a couple of times. But, and obviously this is uninvested, too. So, like, we could get up to, like, I think 600, 700 energy, which is a ton to spend. And I don't know how the question mark attacks scale, but they do scale based on your energy. And it doesn't start as 4,000 damage and then with spending the entire bar of your energy and then working its way down from there. Like, there is an amount where it's neutral, and then using all of your energy from max gives you more than the power that's listed. Hi, I'm back. Sorry, my allergies are particularly bad. My house is, like, almost hermetically sealed, but something must have got in. Okay, anyway, where were we? Then this is the Phoenix mode of the Night Gear. It just gets 2 katanas instead, but it also has the EN Max ability. But it doesn't have the spend all of your energy. So I do kind of like it a little bit better because it can rapid fire off these 4,800 damage attacks multiple times during the enemy phase. as opposed to the Dendo that is has to be a little bit more restrictive about how much damage it does. But again, they're uninvested, so they're not great. But they'll still do something if we need them to do a little bit of damage. So let's scan these two so we can take a look at the bosses we're going to deal with. If everything goes right, we just aren't going to even bother fighting any of these gyms up here. We're just going to ignore them. Right, let's look at Vector Zero now, which is different than Zero plus Vector. He's now fused with his motorcycle or whatever, the little jet thing he was riding. He also starts at, how much? Does he start at max morale? No, he does not. He starts at the morale he was at. But he does have that after image. So 50% of the time right now, he is going to ignore whatever damage we are doing to him. If we've got a bullseye on, we do get to skip that, but for anyone who doesn't have a bullseye, that will take place. He also has an energy restore small, so we need to, like, get this done pretty quickly. At this point, the attacks don't really matter. We're going to find a way to ignore pretty much all of those. But, just, so here's the thing. Actually, hold on, we'll look at Galfa first. Also 50,000 HP. He does not have an after image, so technically much easier to hit. Not technically, just literally easier to hit. And then I believe these are the same properties, basically, as Zero has. They're like roughly the same. Because you need to kill both of them on the same round. If you destroy one during player phase and one during enemy phase, that will count also. Or destroy both during enemy phase, that will count also. But if you get through an entire turn cycle, like once the turn number count ticks up one, whichever one is dead, if the other one is not, they will respawn at full health. So bear that in mind. And because they both have energy regen, there is like this very tenuous balance of trying to make sure that you don't, like that you're not, I'm trying to keep them just low enough so that you can fire on the turn you want to kill, if you're like trying to chip them down. But we're going to try and not do that. We're just going to try and power through it. I think we can do, given the fact that the Getter has still 3 more turns under its belt and Domon has a turn, that's 4 really high power turns. I feel like Galfa is more apt to be dead than Zero is. So let's deal with Zero first. We're going to try and daunt him as much as possible. Both because we'll just do more damage to him, but also to take him off of after image for everyone who doesn't have access to a bullseye. Oh, and again, also, he gives 0 money. And he gives 0 money, because they don't want you to destroy respawning stuff, despite the fact that they gave us the ability to do so earlier in the game. So our fortunes at this point don't really matter, and that's fine. That's kind of what I was planning for. We want to use all of our SP at this point to deal with these 2 bosses. So he's at 98. He will also regain morale very rapidly. So we can't just be comfortable and say, okay, we got him down, done. Like that's gonna go back up. Let's start with Hero, or yeah, because he's not Hero, Duo. I keep doing that because he's the farthest away. We also don't get a support attack off. We don't get a support attack off of Catcher because he's 1 space out, but I guess also at this point, like I said, we should be firing the Confusion. Yeah, because Catcher's 1 space away from being able to support attack, but that's fine. He'll still give the plus 10% damage. Or, sorry, 9% damage. It's 5, then 9, then 15. We'll all remember to show the last ones. Okay, no, I think we got this. So he was at 98. He gains 3 every time he gets hit. And 120 is when... 120 is when his after image activates. One of the other things we can do, we have 2 of the... oh gosh, what are they called? Zeals? The thing that gives another unit Awaken. We could also move these 2. We could Zeal them, move next to Zeal it again. Or if we'd plan this a little better. These have self-destruct. Or any unit that has self-destruct will just do flat damage, irrespective to defense values or abilities. So that is a way you could just like pretty easily clean off a lot of damage from one of the 2 bosses. So, yes, I think the carrot has done its job. We can't confuse a second time. Yeah. So here's some energy. And then we still want the Voltace to go first, so it can be at this diagonal. Yeah, that works better. We can just, can we just use a focus to get the 100% hit in? Yeah, we can, and we can also just take this damage. We won't, doesn't matter what HP we're at. If we've won, here's a Valor. And oh, we even have some Daunts left. I guess we don't want to use the XP there. I guess we'll just cheer here. No, I think we've got this turn. I think this is gonna be the fastest I've ever cleared this scenario. It does help just like knowing what to expect though. If you encounter this the first time and you aren't prepared for it, this is absolutely daunting because the game doesn't tell. I mean, maybe the game does tell you in the text, but I can't read it. So the game didn't tell me that I have to do these both at the same time. All right, and we want to do this now. So then we get an extra turn with the Voltace, and then the Voltace can do that to the Combattler if necessary. And hopefully we have at least one dedication. Hopefully we have two, and we can do that. We can awaken someone one more time. The Combattler or the Voltace is, I believe, 20 SP off of being able to do it 2 times in a row. Yeah, we don't need money. We have all of our requisite spirits. And because we are using a combination attack, we'll turn on this. Because we're using a combination attack, we can't get a support attack off of the Voltace. But I guess actually I think it's better if we don't use the combination attack and we just use both of their best attacks. I think that will do more damage overall. Yeah, let's see it. But I said this before, I'm sure, but just for like the sake of this planning right now. Yeah, if you are any units that are participating in a combination attack can't also then offer a support attack afterwards. It's another one of the reasons why the combination attacks are only so-so. I think I started playing the series. I came from this series thinking about it the most like Fire Emblem, because I spent the most time thinking about Fire Emblem in terms of tactics games before playing this game. And a lot of time, I was approaching the combination attacks the way you probably ought to approach the Pegasus Sisters triple attack in those games. And it's usually just not worth to do the triple attack or whatever it's called. I can't even confidently say what the name of the attack is because it's just not worth it. It's like fun. It's definitely a gimmick. It's cute. And I feel like that's... I was expecting a lot of the combo attacks to be like that. I think that is kind of true for... Oh no. I mean, it's fine. We got more people left. I think that was kind of true for the Ice Tavalis combo attacks. Can we get it with Rain? I did say I needed to get her more levels. That's like the best way to do it. They can stop him from giving me money, but they can't stop him from giving me XP. Our hit's 41. Here, let's get her as close as possible. This is admittedly risky. Because well, I mean, it's only risky insofar as we're going to lose a little bit of money if she dies, but... That didn't help at all? Oh, right, because we're still under... Because Catcher also has one, and that's fine. This, to me, is still worth it. Let's try it. Perfect. Excellent. How many levels is she going to get off of this? We could also just sit here and farm levels. There's no reason to, but we could. She got 6 levels off of that. That's not bad. That puts it at 193. It costs 70 per, so that leaves her with, what did I say? 193. So yeah, okay, she's not spent anything else. So that leaves her with 53. That is 7 points away from getting another dedication. Darn, had we actually tried, had I not like given up 2 different times on Rain getting levels, we probably could have squeezed 2 dedications out of her levels. Okay, time for this Emperor. We also just have these combattlers to use, I guess. We'll bring Emperor Galfa low, and then with whatever else we've got left, we can try to pick off some more of the gems. Just to like get extra funds out of them. Most of that isn't worth it, but a couple of those are. I think our best choice is to start with the Getter, because we can put the Getter at a diagonal, and then he can support attack in. Right? We can go like this, and then damage. We already have Bullseye on from previously. But like we can do, we can take this, and then he's awakened, so he has a turn still. Have Domon come in. I guess we'll go here. Get a support attack off of the Getter, and then it can start taking the rest of its turns. Technically, also, these all should have been cheered, but that's whatever. Clearly, we don't need it if we're able to do this. Like, at this point, I think the Getter can just clean it up without even needing to do another one, so I think we can just start. I think we can start taking out these two. We can take out these 2 gems. Absolutely bonkers. I can't decide if that makes me more happy or more sad with how... Never mind, we can't take these gems out. They're tankier than I was expecting. Did I not use a Valor? Did I forget to use a Valor on it? That could be. But as I was going to say, I was really pleased with last scenario. Oh man, I really just bungled that so badly. We don't have enough fortune. We don't have enough for another fortune here, and we... Where's our dedication? Our dedication is on the same person. Okay, well, we may as well still kill 1. We may as well kill 2, then, if we can get the... If we can get this boy to the gear fighter to kill 1 too. Okay, do we have a Valor on? I feel like we didn't turn a Valor on. I think we forgot to turn a Valor on for the other one too. Anyway, as I was saying, I was really pleased with how I was really pleased with how last scenario went with like what we were able to pull off. And I can't tell if I'm happier or sadder that we were able to do it, like we're doing it more consistently now. Like, cool, I'm glad I can do that, but it was also that like one shining moment doesn't exist now as a singularity. It is just maybe what this game was always able to do, and I've just been the fool that hasn't been doing it. Okay, so there was a little bit of money wastage, but that's fine. And this should, hold on, let's just double check. Yeah, this should be lethal. Let's go. Yeah, I definitely was in this scenario like 14 or 15 turns the first time I played it, just because I definitely killed Zero 3 times. I killed him once during the map, expecting that I just had to, right? That he showed up the first time, he was unkillable, cute, fun gimmick, but now we actually get to beat him because like this is where he's supposed to die in the story. Then he came back and transformed. I was like, okay, cool, we get a second version of him. And then he died. So that one, that's time 0. I wasn't counting that one. That's Zero's death 0. Then I definitely just destroyed him before I destroyed Emperor Golf because he was on the way, not thinking anything of it. And well, I guess we don't get double damage, but that's okay. And then he came back the next turn. I was like, oh no. And then I lowered him again, and then wasn't paying attention to my enemy phase, and then he died on a counterattack, so I had to destroy him 3 times during this part of it. It was so brutal. I was so down to the wire. And like, we are out of resources here, but like deliberately out of resources, right? Like I spent these on purpose, knowing that they were going to end, rather than spending resources thinking I was ending and then not actually doing so. And there's Dominus, the final boss. We fought him like 20 scenarios ago, 15 scenarios ago at this point, and saw him right at the very beginning of the game. But now he's come to pay his dues, and that's not right. He's come to collect. That's it. He's come to collect. He is the final boss of the game, as I've probably mentioned before. You'll know this ahead of time because I have it in the screenshot for the final scenarios, or the screenshot, the title card for the final scenario. But he does have a couple of forms too. So that was our penultimate scenario. It is, I forgot to mention this the entire time we were playing, but it is slightly different if you do this with Raoul and Fiona, not just the dialogue, but there's like enemy placement is a little bit different, and which units are force deployed is a little different, which is cool. There's a couple of those throughout the game where it's slightly different with Raoul and Fiona, and I appreciate that. There probably is a couple more differences that I didn't even pick up. It took me a minute to like see that there was a difference. But that went pretty well, I think. That we cleared that pretty easily, despite I definitely sold it as difficult because I do think it's probably one of the more difficult stages of the game. Just because that's like a pretty steep requirement, having to get through 100,000 damage in one turn. I guess you don't have to do all of it in one turn, but you get the idea. Next scenario is, I think on the whole, actually easier. If you don't, you can mess it up equally as bad if you don't know what you're doing. But I think the logic of how most people play will make it considerably easier to tackle. But I'll explain that in detail when we actually get to that scenario. And then that wraps things up. At this point, I know what I'm playing next, barring any suggestions. I think we're on release number... I'm going to release episode 10 next, in terms of when I'm recording this. So there's still, I guess, plenty of time in my future for suggestions. But I'll see you all one more time for this game, and then we'll be hopefully starting something new. Well, not hopefully. We'll definitely be starting something new. Hopefully new to me. I think I'm going to try and pick up something new, something fresh for the next playthrough. So I can't be quite as, like, authoritative about it. I want to be surprised by some of these mechanics. So thank you for watching. Thank you for sticking around. This has been a pretty long playthrough. I think that's just how all of these games are going to go. I started doing data on R because I looked at it and went, that's the shortest game in terms of scenarios. And unfortunately, fortunately or unfortunately, that's right. It's gonna be a long time when we need to start doing the ones that are like 50 or 60 scenarios in length. But I don't know what you'd be here for if that's not what you wanted out of Super Robot Wars, because that's just how these games work. You want to play 3 Fire Emblems at the same time? You want to play 2 Final Fantasy Tactics? You can do that, or you can play 1 Super Robot Wars. That works too. So again, thank you for being here. I appreciate it. Thank you for the views. Thank you for participating. I'm glad we're starting to form some community about this, and look forward to whatever I have cooking next. I hope I'll see you there. Take care, everybody.